Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
Hello and welcome to another episode here at West Coast Dogman Project. I'm your host, Shane Michael Crisp, and I'm joined with my co-host tonight, Todd Metz. Todd, how you doing, brother?
Good, Shane. What's happening, man?
Y'all, not a whole lot. Hey, we apologize, everyone in the chat. Anne had to reschedule. She couldn't make it due to personal reasons, but we were able to get one of our admins from West Coast, Mariam. Mariam, she's from Washington. So, Mariam, thank you for jumping on in such short notice. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Hey, Mariam.
So, Mariam, if you don't mind just giving us a little brief bio on yourself, like what got you into the whole cryptids and, you know, especially Dogman. I mean, that's what we're all curious about. That's our favorite cryptid.
Yeah, I know. And of course, we're inundated by Sasquatch here.
Yes, especially in Washington.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
just when I was small, I think I was about 3. And that trip, I don't remember. That was too long ago. I was about 3. And that was the first time I saw a Sasquatch in Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then just from our background and from my family's background, we always believe in our culture. We kind of always believe in other beings besides humans anyway. So it's not quite as shocking, you know, as for people who don't have that in their background. And then I didn't even actually know. I mean, I heard stories about Dogman from overseas, Dogman type thing, but I never knew they existed in the United States for a long time. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was quite excited when I found out that wasn't the case and that there were several sightings of them here.
When did you first hear about Dogman, Mariam?
When I was a child, but not
in
in
the
the
States,
context of them being here
Well, I mean,
in
like
North America.
Yeah, North America.
Just like old history, like old, not even anything modern, just stories from like the past in the Middle East.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But so I didn't really know. And honestly, when somebody told me, I was probably in my 20s, that werewolves were real, and I just kind of laughed it off. I didn't take it seriously. I mean, I always knew Sasquatch were real since I saw one, but I didn't think, when they said werewolf, I'm thinking, you know, a person that turns into a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
I didn't make fun of them. I just said, well, you know, that's, if they want to believe that, that's fine, but it's kind of ridiculous. That's what people
I
say
totally
till they
agree.
see
I was
one, and
just
then
like
they're
you.
traumatized the rest of their life.
Yeah,
But,
no, I totally agree.
But I've been, you know, in kind of a woodsy, growing up in, you know, the West Coast, lots of mountains, and I've seen some weird stuff, but some stuff I couldn't explain. I can't even remember everything. So many things have happened, but, you know, I've never actually seen what I can prove as a Dogman yet.
Mm-hmm.
But actually listening to, I saw something, and I'm not going to say it was a Dogman or a cryptid, but it was when I lived on 5 acres out towards Mount Rainier in a town called Eatonville area. And there was this, I mean, we had coyotes, you know, Todd, you know, the coyote color. It's,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, they're not dark colored usually. And the ones around here are all that tan color. And they
Sure.
they don't really move super fast. And I saw something, it was like more wolf size. I was with my one Doberman I used to have, and we were outside, and I saw it over at my neighbor's house kind of running through, and it was almost a blur. It was weird. And my first instinct, instead of being scared, but I can't run fast. So I tried to send my dog ahead of me. I said, come on, let's go, was to go after it, which was stupid if it would have been a dog. But, that was my first instinct. And it was gone, but it was running weird. It was running like I don't know. I had a racking horse at the time, and I don't know. It was just, I can't describe the gait, actually.
Would you say that the gate?
It just wasn't running like a normal dog I've only seen wolves in the wild once across the Columbia River when I was up in Ponderay County, and we were looking at them through a looking glass, like a telescope thing. And there was a pack of wolves on the Canada side of the Columbia River, but they were just like doing normal pacing. They weren't running. So I've never seen in real life a wild wolf other than that time.
So Mariam, this possible.
It was moving. I don't know. I can't describe the gait. I mean, it wasn't a German Shepherd gait. I know show dogs. I know very many different breeds of domestic dogs. I've seen real wolves run on TV, on documentaries when they're hunting, and it was such a blur. It was so fast. I mean, my dog couldn't have even caught it, I'm sure. And she was fast. She used to catch rabbits.
So where was this again, Mariam? The location?
Near Eatonville.
Okay. So that was down near Rainier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Mount Rainier off of, you just take Highway 7 out. But and then another night, it was weird. I felt like I was surrounded, but there were coyotes everywhere. And usually coyotes are fearful. The ones around here, they don't, they're skittish and, because everybody shoots them. It's coyote season all year round. And they're not brave or bold or anything. And one night I came home after dark, and I felt like there were coyotes everywhere, and I don't know what it was. And I was never scared at my property. I mean, it was dark out there. It was a private road. We didn't have street lights, and you could not see your hand in front of your face, but I wasn't scared to walk out down my driveway into the mailbox to check my mail. I never felt fear there, but that night I just I felt so strange that I called my neighbor and told him to come over with his gun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you almost
just because I wanted my feeling validated, because it was bugging me that I was a little bit scared, and I don't like being scared. I think it's wimpy to be scared. And I was like, it was just it was bothering me that I was scared more than anything.
I agree.
And I've never been afraid of coyotes. I mean, the ones around here just don't attack people. Not especially adults.
Well, even back east, coyotes are not known to attack people. They may, if you leave a baby out in the backyard and there happens to be one in the area, he may be, they're opportunists, and they may come in. And I mean, and I always just tell people back east, and just say, well, hey, Todd, what happened? What do you think happened to my cat? Geez, I don't know where it went. And, we were talking about different things, and I'm there, do you feed your cat on the back porch or feed it outside? Well, yeah, he or she eats outside. I said, well, there you go. Coyote will snap that cat up in a matter of seconds, and you'll never even know what hit him.
Yeah. And then I lost a favorite goat. I got a bottle baby. It was this little goat. He was a Nubian boar cross. He was so cute. He had the long floppy ears, and bottle goats are like dogs. They follow you around like dogs. Anyway, he was going to be my pet, and I found him with just only, he'd be the first one to come running when I came home. And I came home with my nephew one day, and my nephew was with me, and he didn't come. His name was Pan, and he didn't come. And So I told my nephew, help me find him. He goes, well, how could you miss him if he comes all the time? I said, well, something's wrong. And I went out to one of the pastures and I found him deceased, very deceased. And it was heartbreaking. The only thing, it was so weird. His head was fully intact and then his spine. But everything else was gone. I couldn't find his feet, his insides, or anything. And I don't know what would have done that. I mean, I know we have the coyotes, of course. We have cougars every once in a while, but they drag their stuff off. He was small enough, a cougar would have just picked him up. We have cats, black, and hawks and eagles. And I did catch an eagle up in a tree when one of my sheep had a baby. You know, that would have been a snack for an eagle. But and I know things could pick and do that to my goat, you know, over time. Except this was just that I saw he was fine the day before.
Mm-hmm. But was he out there by himself at night in a pen, or where was he located?
He was out with other goats. No, with everybody.
He was with another
in a paddock in the pasture.
Paddock, yep, sure.
Yeah, it's not very big. Like that area was only maybe 1 acre at the most.
But none of the other animals were touched, just him.
No, and that's what was so strange.
Yeah, it is kind of strange.
None of the other sheep, none of the other goats, but he was so friendly that, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he had any sense to get away from anything.
And Mariam, you said that this one was the youngest one of the pack, right? Of your animals?
No, there was I had another young goat too.
Oh, okay.
Another baby, because they were kind of, with goats, you kind of put, you know, they need a partner. Mm-hmm. They need a friend. So I had another little full-blooded Nubian that he'd hang out with.
In your personal gut feeling, do you believe it was a coyote, or do you believe it could have been something cryptic? Because I mean, just the way it sounds very Dogman-like. But I mean, that's what I mean. I don't know. There was no blood. There was no his tufts of fur. He was a very unique color. I couldn't find any of his fur. It was just weird. It was just, his head was 100% intact. That's what was so sad, you know, his little face, but and just his spine. It was so weird. It was just like, you know, I don't know how that's all that I found. I mean, where were his ribs, his hips, his shoulders, his little hooves? I've also heard Sasquatch doing that too. So, I mean, you guys, like I said, you guys live in the capital of Sasquatch. I mean, Washington has, I think it's like 200 more reported sightings in second place, California. So,
yeah, I guess pretty crazy up here from what I understand. I don't know too much about it myself, but you know, on the Sasquatch side of things. But
oh, Todd, I can show you a place if you want to have an experience with that.
Yes, that's right.
I offer people act like they want to go, but they're scared because
well, that's really interesting.
I mean, if someone told me let's go see a Dogman, I'd get my clothes on and go now.
Yeah.
Mariam's fearless. That's what I love about her. She's
fearless. No doubt.
Until I see one.
Right.
Well, that's
thinking I might put a depend on before I go.
Yeah, exactly. So hey, Mariam, how long have you been researching and studying Dogman? And Shane has asked this question many times, so I'm going to steal it from him and ask you, you know, when you first kind of got into this, you know, into the phenomenon and kind of researching it and trying to determine whether it's something that's, you know, that's happening out there.
Probably about a year before you and I met, Shane.
Oh, really?
So not that long on Dogman. In fact, when I saw that brownish black thing going really fast, I wasn't even thinking Dogman at the time. I was thinking I was thinking more wolf than coyote because of the size, but there are no wild wolves in Western Washington on this
Oh, there
area.
isn't. Oh,
No,
okay. See, I didn't know about that. I was
there's
going to
been a
ask you
pack. There's been a pack in Southwest Washington.
that. Mhm.
They saw, but at least that the Forest Service is admitting.
Oh, I see.
Right.
But this area is still, it's too congested. I mean, a pack of wolves would get noticed here.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
And yeah, and they'd be shot, trust me.
Hmm.
In that area.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
That's why I said even the coyotes normally didn't hang around there because most of my neighbors didn't, well, anyway, dispatched them quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. Real quick, you guys, before we jump in any further in the conversation, I want to do a personal shout out to everyone in the comments. So I'm just going to go run down the list before we jump in. Todd, Mariam, if that's okay with you guys.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. I can't see. I'm not on YouTube, so I can't see even who's here.
Okay, I'll pop their comments up on the screen. So Mariam, you'll be able to say hi to them. So starting off first, Kenneth the Menace. Thanks for jumping on. Good to see you. Jeff Hartwell. He's our California state representative for the North American Dogman Project and another good friend of mine and like a mentor. Awesome seeing him. Al Santoriga, the Squatch father.
Oh, hey, Al.
Carlito's on. Hey, brother, good to see you, man. Oh, yes, if his comment will pop up. My
Oh, cool. Hey,
lagging.
Carlito.
Miss Shannon, thanks for jumping on. Good to see you. My mom, let's get this started.
Oh,
Mama Bruce said, hey, y'all. And, always my sidekick. She's always in the comments. My lovely wife, Lisa. Let's see. There's a couple other. Oh, Todd T. I wanted to say hi to him. He's our Arkansas state representative for the North American Dogman Project out there in Region 4 underneath Carlito Castro. So good to see you, Todd. Thanks for jumping on, brother. Let's see. Pink Dahlia. Good to see her. She said, hey, guys, West Coast. We're all West Coast, so that's all to all of us. So let's see. Another one, Juliana McGill from Humboldt County, Northern California. How are you doing? And I think, there's two more I saw in here. Let me see.
Humboldt County is beautiful. I always think of marijuana when I hear that county.
Yes.
Not that I know anything that much about it, but
Yeah, right. Same here. Joe Mazzella, he just landed into New Orleans and he was telling me that he was going to jump on. So safe travels, Joe. Thanks for jumping on, brother. Really appreciate that. And one of our admins for the North American Dogman Project Washington State Chapter, Barb Hartman. Barb, howdy. And yeah, that looks like everybody that's in the comments so far. So, and yeah, let's jump on in. So, Mariam, the floor is yours.
pardon?
Yeah, tell us. The floor is yours, Mariam. Tell us a little bit more about.
Juliana, I'm looking at Juliana's comment. Hi, Juliana. Yes, I am aware of that attack, and I don't believe it was a wolf either, a regular wolf. Not with the way the guy described the way it was looking at him, especially, and the size.
Where was that? Where did that so-called attack take place?
It was maybe a dogman, maybe a young one.
Where did that take place? Just
last month in Oregon.
Oh,
okay.
Yes, I heard about that one. That was sent to me by Brown Dwarf. If you guys are familiar on YouTube, Brown Dwarf has a successful YouTube channel, and I think he's got like 9,000 to 10,000 members or followers. But he does a lot of Bigfoot stuff. But he sent me a link to that, and reading about it, the gentleman was fighting the wolf. He said it didn't sound like a wolf, but the wolf, the creature attacked his arm and was pretty much going in for the kill. But he was only able to fight it off with the bucket that he had, and he lost lots of blood. And it was lucky, I think it was his nephew or his cousin that found him, and he got rushed to the hospital. But he said it was a lot larger than your wolf, but that was in Oregon. So
yeah, It sounds like he was trespassing too on somebody's property. So I guess FAFO, right?
Yeah, right. You can cuss
Best
on here.
thing to do
We
is
don't censor it, so you're good.
why use the bad word.
Yeah, true. I get it.
Yeah.
Imagine having a dog man to guard your property.
Oh, that would be perfect. I mean, I would definitely love that. From all the
Yeah.
homeless and stuff here in California. Al was asking, was that the horse attack? No, Al, are you thinking about the horse attack in Ohio? I think it was Southeast Ohio. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. Or it might have been 2 months ago. I think I heard that, but might have been a different horse attack. So, but yeah, so Mariam, I mean, now I noticed you post a lot about going out with your dogs, and where you go, it seems like it's heavily forested where you go. Is there any reported Sasquatch sightings in the area where you go? Because where you go, it seems like your dogs are always playing in the lake or the river or the stream. So I mean, we all know that streams are a highway for these cryptids to travel. So do you think, is there any recent sightings or encounters that people have reported on Sasquatch and possibly dogmen or wolf-like creatures?
Yeah, in fact, I don't know if it was let's see, not Jeffrey Naldoni. Who's the other one? The other dogman encounters? Vic
Cundiff, yeah.
Yeah, that his channel had a guest, and I told Todd I went up there and looked, and as soon as I find out these places, I head out there, and I got whiplash. I had a smaller car at the time, and there's lots of potholes to get up there. It's like, and now I have a larger SUV, so I'm going to go up there again. I just haven't had time, and look around. But there's quite an extensive encounter on there, up in that area.
So you do exactly what I do,
but I didn't see anything. And when I'm with my dogs, I'm always watching them to make sure they don't do something stupid or go after wildlife, or, if other people show up, I have to make sure they behave themselves. And they're kind of high drive.
Well, they're agility dogs.
Handfuls. So
yeah.
I'm not really good with the camera. I still have some footage from my GoPro. But here's my technological downfalls. I don't know how to use stuff, so I don't know how to get it from the GoPro to the computer yet. I have to figure that out.
I see. So you might have actually a gold mine of footage of a possible dogman or even a Sasquatch.
I may have and not even know it. That's true.
You never know.
But I don't always remember to bring my camera because I always think to pack everything for the dogs, all the stuff they need, and
exactly. Sure. That makes more sense, especially when you do see these cryptids, whether it's a Sasquatch or a dogman, your adrenaline's rushing because these things aren't supposed to exist. The last thing you think of is, hey, let me grab my camera. Unless you're Scott Carpenter and you have your GoPro, recording a 360 the whole time. I mean, it's just, a lot of people don't think about that, or that's their last thing that they think of. It's either fight or flight normally with these things, and most of the time it's hightail out of there.
Right. And hold on, sorry, there's something on my.
Oh no, you're good. I just wanted to real quick. Wanted to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then it actually I'd like to go without the dogs because they're kind of a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going specifically just to look for cryptids.
Yeah, I guess I have one comment on trying to go out and find these things. Obviously, it's they're half the time they'll find you. You don't find them. But I guess one of my thoughts, Mariam, is if a dog man, it would possibly be attracted or not attracted, or may go the other way when there's other dogs around, dogs around or other type of animals around. I'm not sure, and I don't remember if I've read a lot of reports where people had animals, like dogs with them, and what the dogman's reaction was to a dog or other animal that might be with their owner. So I think that's kind of an interesting, thing to think about a little bit is, what you got to kind of wonder what they would be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, now my horse I used to ride him up in the mountains quite a bit. And he was fearless, except I knew there was a cryptid around because that's the only time he would act spooky.
Oh, wow.
That was the only time. And before I went in, I'd send out a message like, hey, please don't scare my horse because if he throws me, I'm going to be dead. It's going to break my neck or something. So that was the only time, like, he was not afraid of, well, guns were normal. Of course, he wasn't afraid of those. And then with the military base and the bombing and the crazy redneck neighbors with their fireworks and shotguns. So they're pretty immune to all that, and bears, and nothing fazed him. I mean, I'd stop for black bears to cross so I didn't disturb them, especially if they had babies. And he'd just stop and put his head down and start eating. It was just an opportunity for him to snack. But
so your horse is pretty bomb proof then, it sounds
oh
like.
yeah. I used to ride, I mean, the logging trucks would go by us on Highway 7 and it didn't even faze him. Tractors.
Right on.
Yeah, he was
what
bomb
horse
proof.
was it, Mariam?
Racking horse.
Oh, okay.
They're like a Tennessee Walker.
Oh, beautiful. Those are to me, one of the best. Them and Missouri Foxtrotters.
Well, you don't have to post. You just sit on them and go.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are, Todd. I think we had a little technical difficulty. Todd was on two different screens.
Yeah, it was a little kooky on the technology part here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you both are in Washington now. I know you both are busy, you have your everyday lives, and, Todd's still getting, around Washington and everything. But have you talked, and do you both have plans to link up one day and go look up, Dogman, or just go to like Mount Rainier, or just to do some investigating for the day? Or
Yeah, I told Todd I'd take him. It's kind of a loop from here. Mm-hmm. There's kind of a circle where those 3 Dogman sightings have been. There's one in Maple Valley. These people saw on their property. They're trying to get their horses in a storm. Mm-hmm. And then there's one in Ravensdale, which is close to Maple Valley. It's right next to it. And then if you kind of go in a big circle, and then that's where that other quite extensive encounter where I come up with the potholes.
Yes.
That place. There's like a off-road park there for like Jeeps and side-by-sides and
that's what I was going to ask. Oh, go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, no, that's
oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, that's great. We definitely, since the weather's better and stuff, and we definitely got to plan something like that because there's definitely areas where Sasquatch is in my mind, and also where probably the same areas are frequented by Dogman as well.
Yeah, and I'll show you where that one clan lives too, Todd, of Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's super. Yeah, super.
It's pretty common to have encounters there.
Hey, Mariam, I have a couple questions.
People that work at the Pack Forest from the University of Washington, they have a working forestry thing there. They've had experiences with Sasquatch there too.
Sure. Is that in a state forest or a national forest?
State
forest. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Go ahead, Shane. You had something?
Now, Mariam, do you believe? Yeah, no, I just had a question. Now, do you believe that the Sasquatch and Dogman coexist together, or do you believe that they're both apex predators and are very territorial? I mean, your opinion and your theory, it's not going to be, oh, it's wrong. It's all theory based, really. So, but they've been accounts where they've been seen together, and then there's also been accounts where they're fighting out in the forest, supposedly on Vic's show, from what I've heard on a few, encounters. So, but I just wanted to pick your brain. What's your personal opinion, Mariam?
I'm not sure. I believe they're both, I I don't really see Sasquatch as a predator in the same way as like more like us, you know. But they're definitely apex. But I don't think that. I think Sasquatch are very, very extremely protective of their young, and that's when they're most likely, I think, to hurt or kill a person is if you mess with their young or get between their young and their mom, or kind of like a bear.
Exactly.
And I don't think they'd really be comfortable with Dogman, honestly, being around their young. So I can't see a family of Sasquatch just saying, "Oh, come here, Fido, come hang out with us. I have a deer leg." I don't think so.
I agree.
I mean,
I agree with you.
maybe a rogue. I could see like a rogue Sasquatch and a rogue Dogman. Hey, dude, what's up? If we work together, we can
We'll survive.
get some more grub. So, but maybe that. But I don't really see, because I think they're two different beings.
Exactly.
Two different species. I mean, I don't think they're like, they don't have a relationship like we do with our dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with that theory. I also like to just add that since they both are apex in the food chain, there would be competition for food source. So my personal feeling is they probably don't get along, and they're competing for, if they, we could go back and forth on, on what these creatures are: interdimensional, paranormal, flesh and blood, and the list goes on and on. So, with that being said, they probably, in my humble opinion, they don't, they're competing for the same food source if they're flesh and blood. So they probably don't get along, just like a bear and a mountain lion don't get along,
Exactly. Yeah. And bears and wolves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And and Dogman, I don't think they're going to be content in a blueberry patch. They need some meat.
Yes, I agree. They're definitely carnivorous creatures.
Yeah. Well, I think, and I don't care if they're flesh and blood or interdimensional, everybody needs to eat.
Exactly. Whether they're eating in this dimension.
If I went interdimensional, I wouldn't stop eating.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Whether they're eating in this dimension or in another. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
Better
You
they
got to
eat
eat
in their own
something.
dimension. Right.
Yeah, and you have to look at, most people that are reporting these creatures are, they have big teeth, and big sharp teeth are usually meat eaters. They're definitely not going after apples and berries like a omnivore would,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, their teeth are sharp, and meant to rip into flesh, so it makes
Exactly
perfect sense
for a reason.
Sasquatch have more like molar-like teeth because they're eating berries, but then again, we have Sasquatch that have that look like the Gugway, or that have the fangs, the baboon-like face, territorial.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, so many different things to jump on. Mariam, I was going to ask you, did you want to talk a little bit about your Sasquatch encounter? Or I know you said you were so little, but do you remember bits and pieces of it? Like what time of the day was it? What time of the year was it? And how tall? I mean, can you give us a description off memory? Do you of what you remember?
I don't really remember a lot, except we were in Canada up at Lake Shuswap, which is in a lake up in Vancouver, British Columbia province.
Okay.
And I was so little. I mean, I have pictures from the trip. I must have been about 3.
Oh, so you were just little then. So you vaguely remember.
And I was just hanging out on the beach playing because we had a houseboat.
Mm-hmm.
We got a houseboat for, I think it was 3 weeks or something.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and I don't know. I just saw him in the woods. It was big to me, but everything was big to me.
Yeah.
My
Especially
father's 6'5", so I was used to seeing big, tall beings, but he was a lot bigger than my dad. And I didn't say anything because I just thought he was just an animal. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask real quick.
I didn't have a sense of fear or anything. I didn't know what animals were in the woods. I mean, I knew what bears were, so I just figured he was just one of the Canadian animals.
Oh, I
Did
see.
Miriam, I mean, you were 3, so you're on the beach and you had the houseboat and stuff. What, did your parents ever mention anything about that, with them seeing that to you
No,
as
no,
you
because
got
I
older?
didn't say anything to that. I didn't
Um,
say that I saw him. I
oh,
was just
sure.
looking in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, you were little. You probably had no idea what you were even looking at since you were so
Yeah,
small.
exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Mariam, do you remember the color of the creature? Did it have like the chestnut look to it, or was it like jet black or
It was like
brown?
I think it was like not a dark brown. It was like a more like a grayish brown.
Oh, okay.
Uh, I don't know. Yeah.
Gerald from Midnight or Midwest Night Watchers just jumped on. How you doing, brother? Thanks for jumping on. Just wanted to say, give him a shout out. He just jumped in. So, but yeah, so I mean, maybe we can go for about an hour if that's okay with you. I mean, I apologize it was such last second. I mean, we can keep going on. Heck, we can go an hour and a half if you'd like, but the floor is yours. If you have any
I'm
plans,
fine.
what was that?
I'm fine. I may have to get up and let one of the dogs in or out, but other than that, I don't have anything.
Okay. Well, I know one thing that Todd and I were talking about earlier, Mariam, since you're, part of the West Coast family and the team of admins, we do have plans to want to grow a little bit. So we're going to do a contest here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to try to get more members, but what we're going to do is we're going to give a giveaway. We're going to give away T-shirts and a couple stickers just to people that invite, to the West Coast Dogman, West Coast Sasquatch, any of the West Coast pages, and as well as the USDF and the Washington State chapter page. We're just going to try to grow those so we can get more out there and kind of spread awareness in what we're doing, because I do believe what we're doing what we need on the West Coast. We don't really have, you have all these other big pages that are all back east or in the South, and I just don't believe that Dogman and Sasquatch really get represented out in the West as much. There is a lot of groups out there like the BFRO and other respectable organizations that, hey, I respect what they do. But with what we're trying to do is we're going to have a contest and, actually not a contest, but a giveaway. So
Yeah.
the stickers, the logos that we've created, the circular logo at the top right, that's going to be one of the shirt designs or the secondary logo with the paw print and the Dogman head with the tagline, the answer is out there. The shirt I'm actually wearing right now actually turned out to be a really good shirt. So
I know I love these. I love my sticker on my car.
I got to send you some more, actually, Mariam. I know Todd just had some made, and he sent me some. I got to check the mail and see if they've actually came in. But we'll get you a shirt because I know you're one of the OGs with the West Coast. You've been part of the team since day one, I want to say, from what I recall. But yeah, so contest or giveaway here soon to everyone.
All right. Did you guys hear that? You're going to get some great merch.
Yeah, we're
You
gonna try.
win.
I need to get some hats made. I need to get on that. I've just been super busy myself. But then another thing in the news with West Coast, starting next month, I believe it's in June, we're gonna have Eric Mintel come on. He just recently did a Dogman investigation on the Beast of Bray Road, and Todd's actually been talking to him. And Todd actually asked if he would be willing to come on, and he accepted. And I was floored when Todd told me that he was willing to come on and talk about the Beast of Bray Road. And if you watch the video that Eric shared, you clearly hear not just one, but 2 dogmen growling. And they're actually going back out, I believe, in September or August to do another field investigation. And Todd, you were mentioning that you and Denise were going to be flying out possibly to go meet up with him and either investigate or do dinner just to meet him, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about. Just going out, checking out the area. I never been to southeast Wisconsin, and Denise has some friends out there which are really close to that area, so it'd be kind of interesting to talk to them and see if they've actually heard about the Beast of Bray Road. A lot of people have lived there and haven't even heard about it, so I'm kind of curious to find out if those folks have even heard about it. But yeah, talking to Eric and trying to follow what he does on Buck County paranormal investigations or with Eric Mintel. Super good guy, really fun group. that he goes out with to do these different investigations. So check out his channel, Eric Mintel Investigates. We enjoy watching him and doing, watching his on-site investigations. And like I said, he's going back supposedly in September to do another follow-up to the original couple. And they did a town hall out there, and they had a lot of people show up for that. So there's a lot of, and it was a packed house. It was a lot of information. So if you search that, you can watch that that town hall that he does out there with in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, about the Beast of Bray Road. So it should be fun.
Yeah, it was good to see that Lee Hampel was so willing to bring him onto his property to investigate. And I really hope that he does get. He's mainly a paranormal researcher, if I'm not mistaken, right? So him just diving into the cryptids is new. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah,
and especially folks that are willing to travel, because he's from Pennsylvania and goes out there and does those investigations and stuff, and so that's pretty cool, and got some good boots on the ground that are starting to pick up on the Dogman phenomenon to try to investigate it. And hey, what better place to go to investigate Dogman than Elkhorn, Wisconsin? I mean, doesn't get any better than that.
Started this, the Beast of Bray Road. Well, I mean, Linda Godfrey was is a trailblazer in this field, and she was the one that was the first one to start on that. So, I mean, to take it all back to where it still happens nowadays. So that's what really gets me. And I'm just like, if I could fly out, if Lisa and I are able to find the time off of work, we'd love to join you out there with Eric and the group. Well, like I said, I've got such a busy schedule, work and everything. Yeah. So finding the time and really finding the time to do interviews is, it's a stretch. But hey, we're able to do it, and that's what we try to do is just promote Dogman content and bring on eyewitnesses that have had it. But like even having Mariam, even though she sounds like you've had a sighting, Mariam. Not to say that it's 100% confirmed it was a Dogman, but I mean, if it moved as fast and was a brown and black blur, I mean, chances are it sounds like very much like a Dogman. I mean, obviously we have to weigh out the factors of coyote, wolves, because those things do run fast as well. But I mean, if it's like a blur speed and running at a not normally like a canine, it sounds very Dogman-like to me. So
yeah, I can't convince myself until it like actually slows down and gets in my face and almost bites my head off, and then I'll say, yeah, I saw a Dogman.
Up close and personal. Get up close and personal with that. It would be kind of frightening, but for sure. But hey, Mariam, I mean, it's one thing. It's good that you're out there trying to, as much time as you have with everything that you've going on and stuff, to get out there and get to these areas that have some possible Dogman activity, have confirmed sightings of Sasquatch, and what's your thought? Sometimes we talk a little bit about the interaction between these two cryptids, but they seem to frequent, from everything that I've read, they frequent the same areas like we talked about, like sandy, washed out riverbeds, streams, water sources, whether it be ponds or lakes. Do you think that's viable? Where that it doesn't makes sense from my point of view that they would visit those type of areas,
especially Sasquatch, since they're omnivorous. There's a lot of food sources here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And we have a lot of deer. We have elk, moose. So there's plenty of things for Dogman to eat too. Mm-hmm. And then we have all the missing people. And there was another dog. I've sent everything to you, Shane, but I need to start saving them in a folder. There was that encounter up at Mount Rainier where the park ranger had the experience with the Dogman.
Oh, I don't think I've ever received that one. I'll have to check that one out. If you can resend it to me, I'd like to check that one out, because I think I've came across someone's YouTube channel that had posted something very similar. That might have been the one. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to check that out, because I've been to Washington about 2 years ago when I was visiting my grandfather. I think I've told Todd about it, but I
Yeah.
hiked up in Bremerton off, I think it was Gold Mountain Peak, or I can't remember
Yeah.
the trail, but it was heavily forested. But if you go on Vic Cundiff's show, I think it's like episode like 362 or
Mhm.
somewhere in the 300s. But there was a lady that had seen she calls a werewolf, but it's called the Bremerton werewolf. I don't know if you ever heard Vic's episode.
Oh, I heard that story where she was walking home one night or went to the store,
Yes.
came back and
Yep.
saw.
And I know Todd's not too far from Bremerton. I think,
Nope.
that I've been to Bremerton. I stayed there on accident. I was supposed to be up in Bothell, but I ended up booking my hotel up in Bremerton, 90 minutes away. But hey, it was worth the drive. But as I was driving near Mount Olympic and doing that little curve around towards Tacoma, it was it's just such a beautiful area, very green and heavily forested. So if Sasquatch can obviously thrive and survive there, then why can't a dogman? And like Todd said, these things obviously travel the streams. And Mariam, you said there's an abundance of food sources, whether it be elk or deer. But what's your guys' theory on power lines? Do you think they travel the power lines too? I've heard that from multiple people. I mean, theory wise,
Well, right now I could. I mean, I'm not going to do it, but I could walk a couple miles. Let's see what direction, west, and then I'd be in a power line. And I can go all the way to Mount Rainier.
Oh wow! Okay, so
So there are, unfortunately, some of the homeless druggies set up encampments, so it's not that safe. But because it's easier to travel. I mean, you don't have to go. I mean, I would use a power line. Why not?
Sure.
At least you can walk through it. You don't have to go navigating through. And even if they are interdimensional, while they're in our dimension, they still have to walk like everyone else.
Exactly. And there's obviously, video.
So why not use it? I mean, if you can use that nice cleared area to move, why not? So yeah, I think they probably use them.
Yeah, it makes total sense to me.
Yeah. Dogmen will eat cattle is what Joe Mazel said. They have a keen sense of smell and like the sweet sense of molasses and ground grain. See, I didn't know that about dogmen.
Me too. I don't blame them.
Yeah. Now at least we know how to feed a dog, man, if we need to. Thanks for that, Joe.
I wonder if the goat man tastes like goat. I always wondered that.
Right.
That's the only goat I might eat if
Miriam's out in the Appalachians, mountain range with a shotgun waiting for a goat man.
Yeah. Well, you could say this.
Let's see if it tastes like it.
You could say the same thing about Dogman. Will he attack and try to kill another Dogman?
Oh, that's true. Yes, territorial, different packs.
Territorial. Yeah. All right. Well, that's another question. Just like anything else.
Have you, Todd? Since you were working with actual wildlife, did you know or ever know that wolves can sense from many, many miles away if another wolf steps into their territory?
Oh wow!
Yeah, well, I'm from back east. We didn't have wolves out there, but for sure, when I was in Montana, I talked to a number of people. I used to go out there quite a bit and talk to some other wardens and stuff that are in the Bozeman area back in the day, and they were just reintroducing wolves into Yellowstone, I think, in 1996, and the ranchers were all pretty much up in arms. And of course, the state of Montana said, "Yeah, you can shoot a wolf if it's predatory on your cattle." But I have heard that. I'm not sure exactly what the distance is, but their noses, as you know, probably way better than I do about how sensitive they are, and being able to pick up smells, and their hearing is phenomenal. Their sight is pretty good. They can't see in the color ranges that we see, but their sight is outstanding. So yeah, does not surprise me. If Dogman has any similar capabilities to a wolf, if that's what we're thinking about in some ways, that what's the comparison? Yeah, they definitely have that, would have that capability.
And then add an opposable thumb and human intelligence. So that's
How scary is that?
Outdo a dog man.
A nightmare.
Yeah,
seriously.
If the military really is using them, I don't blame them. I mean, if I could have one, I'd keep one too.
Yeah, Joe even said even sharks can detect the scent of one drop of blood within 24 miles. See, that I
Yeah.
only thought it was only 1 to 2 miles, but
Wow.
mind-boggling that it's 24 miles. So, and they're apex predators of the sea, and wolves are an apex predator. I mean, yeah, they've been, eradicated from a lot of areas, it's like California, Washington. I think there's only 2 or 3 packs that are in actually Oregon. So,
well, they eradicated the wolves in the late 18th century back east in New England. You didn't see any wolves in southern New England. I mean, you'd still see them up, towards New France or Canada, in northern New England. But southern New England, there hasn't been a wolf sighting there in 250 years, it seems like. So.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
New England, yeah. Well, the settlers were very concerned about, obviously, their livestock, and they would eradicate wolves at all costs. And, so that was their livelihood. They had, they needed those, and they weren't easily gotten, and they were expensive to get. So wolves were definitely a major threat to the settlers in New England.
I agree. And
so there were bounties.
Ask you about that, Todd. Let me pick your brain real quick on that. Do you believe? I mean, it's the wolves picking off people's livestock. Do you believe back in the 14 or 1500s, the Beast of Gévaudan? Do you believe that was a wolf or a dogman that was picking off women and children?
Boy, what an interesting story! The Beast of Gévaudan is. That was in 1763 or 64.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the 18th century, certainly. A very bizarre case, and I've looked at it. I've seen quite a bit of information about that. And my personal opinion is, I don't think that it was obviously. I don't think it was a werewolf. I'm not convinced it was a dogman. It is a possibility. People have said it was a hyena that may have been brought in, may have come in. But the thing that bothers me about that, and always has, is why did it pick off? People, whether it be young girls or whatever. It's so much easier for a hyena to pick off the livestock. And livestock they weren't being attacked from everything I've read on the beast. So, why is that? So that kind of takes that theory and kind of puts some holes in it, in my opinion, as from the hyena standpoint. So if you watch Ken Gerhardt and that New Jersey police detective that did the video, or that did the show for History Channel on the Beast of Gévaudan, Ken was kind of going with the hyena theory, and the police officer was going to the theory of a serial killer. So obviously he's doing the law enforcement thing and trying to run the practical gamut. And Ken was, looking at a lot of different theories: werewolf, dogman, hyena, whatever the case may be. And I think his thought was along the hyena realm, but I'm not convinced of that.
Yeah. Mariam, what's your thoughts on the Beast of Gévaudan? Have you looked into that, or
the what?
The Beast of Gévaudan in France? That killed.
No, I don't know about. No, I don't know much about France.
Oh, okay. Well, Todd, let me get back to you on the beast real quick. The illustrations I've seen, it shows obviously a canine-looking like creature, but the tail has a curve at the very end on a lot of illustrations. Now, obviously, hyenas don't have long tails like that, and everything that you've read and done research on, and same here. To me, do you think it might have been somewhat of a panther, or because obviously Black Panthers have a curved tail? Do you think it might have just been a misidentified, and maybe people just thought it looked canine in appearance?
Well, it's entirely possible. People were scared. There were people being killed hand over fist, in that period of time. And even the king sends in his best hunter to go track this thing down and to try to kill it. He fails at that. But that's an entirely possible that it was misidentified. Yeah, you see that the panther, kind of the swooping tail. Obviously, a dead giveaway for a Black Panther is that long swooping tail. So yeah, could it be misidentification? Absolutely. I've also read it and have seen, and some people may have please comment on this statement, but there are some footprints that apparently were looked at. So and they were canine. So
Oh wow, so I didn't know that.
yeah, so there were some footprints from that period. I don't know how they came about that information, but that's what I had heard. So, and for sure, it's possible, that it was misidentified, a misidentified, cat. Who knows?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a really interesting story, and I don't think it'll ever be totally solved, but
Exactly.
it sure is a good one. It's one of the best ones.
Evidence wise, I mean, like you said, in 1760s. I mean, how did they cast the footprint? I mean, it's one of those that it lives on in legend as one of the many stories of the Dogman phenomenon. I mean, whether it was Dogman or not, I mean, it's still a lot of people correlate it with the Dogman. So just like with Saint Christopher and the Ulonga Duglala, I mean, the list goes on.
Sure.
So
the list goes
on the 1 hour mark. Did you guys want to keep going, or do you want to kind of wrap it up? And I'll give off the last little bit of what we're going to do, what we have in the near future on interview wise, or do you guys want to dive a little more into it?
I'm good. If you guys still want to go, I don't mind either way.
Okay. Todd, are you good to go, or are you ready to wrap it up yourself, or?
Yeah, pretty soon. I think we could wrap it up. I think we've covered some pretty good information, some fun stuff, and it's always good. But yeah, if you want to talk about some upcoming things, that would be great as well.
Yeah. So some next month, I think right after Joe's interview, I wanted to do something that a little different than. We're going to go across the sea, across the pond. I've been talking to a few guys that have had Dogman encounters out in the UK, and I wanted to start a UK series for the month of June, possibly early July, depending on their schedules. And the time difference is, I think, 11 to 12 hours. So it's not going to be the typical Thursday night interviews. It might be a Saturday, 6 o'clock in the morning type interview, or 7 o'clock. I mean, obviously, we'll work something out where it'll work for all of us, but we're going to have 3 eyewitnesses that have had encounters from the 90s to, I want to say the early mid 2000s. So we have 3 incredible eyewitnesses. They're a part of our UK page. We have a Facebook group called the United Kingdom Dogman Encounters, the UKDE. It's something I started a few months back. My good buddy Johnny Elliott, who is one of the guests that is willing to come on and talk about his Dogman encounter from 2004. So I'm real stoked about that. You can also check out his interview on Dogman encounters with Vic Cundiff. Him and another gentleman named David Bunt had really terrifying encounters. I haven't reached out to David. I'd like to get him on, but he sounds like a busy guy. But yeah, we're going to be doing the UK series starting possibly next month, early July. And then I think, who do we have next week, Todd? Are we off next week?
Are we off next week? I think so, because I'll be out of town, so I don't think not just because I'm out of town. I mean, obviously you could do the podcast without me. You don't need me, in the background. But no, we're off next week. And
because I don't think I have anyone slated. I know I originally had Jody Cook, but Jody had some personal stuff he was taking care of. But I try to throw Jody in if he's willing to jump on, or maybe just take the week off. But I know the week after that, we have Abe Cias coming on. And Abe's been on Dogman Encounters with Vic Cundiff. He's been on These Woods Are Haunted, explaining his paranormal account. He never talked about his Dogman encounter. So I'm pretty stoked to have Abe come on. He was just recently on Country Boy Cryptids podcast, and him and Carlito Castro talked about the Mexican folklore and the cryptids, which was a really good episode. I highly recommend everyone check that out. And I believe the week after that, the week of the 26th, we have Nick Valente coming on. And we're going to talk about his Dogman encounters and everything Dogman with him. So I'm pretty stoked looking for that interview as well. So, yeah, Mariam,
definitely.
I said, my God.
We got, we got 6'1". We got Eric Mintel coming on, and 6'8", right? Is Steven Seagal.
Yes, that's correct. Good. I didn't pull up my schedule. I totally forgot about June. Yes, we've got Eric, who we mentioned earlier, And then Steven Seagal with Dark Woods. He's also got a successful Facebook page and group. If anyone's not a part of it, I highly recommend going and check that out. It's called Primal Cry in the Dark Woods. Him and his wife Kelly both run that, and he's been on multiple podcasts too, and has really compelling evidence, photographs out there in Wisconsin. So I mean, he lives in the heart of Dogman country, in my personal opinion. So,
well, let's hope about that. Oh yeah, definitely. Let's hope that we can. Let's hope that we can get Ann Kelly back, and talk with her, because, like I said, she's got some sightings from Arizona and West Virginia. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us tonight, but these things happen, and we'll try to get her back. And the other, I lost my train of thought there. But one thing that I wanted to, you were talking about the UK, which is really exciting to talk with some people about that. And I was going to walk over to my bookcase over here, my Dogman bookcase, and I've got a book that one young lady wrote with sightings from the UK. So let me go over and grab it. I'll hold it up to the camera, and you could take a look at it, just because it's you happen to be talking about stuff from the UK. So I'll be right back with you there.
Yeah, go ahead. So yeah, Mariam, I really do appreciate you jumping on last second. I just saw that you had posted, and I'm like, man, I've been wanting to interview Mariam for a minute. I'm sorry, I've been super busy. I try to line people out at least like once or 2 months in advance, and with that have had sightings. But even then, even if you haven't had a sighting, you're more than welcome to come on, and we can just talk Dogman. I mean, just like what we did tonight. I mean, there's so many different rabbit holes and theories we can just jump down and make an episode out of, just like many podcasts do. And we're not people that will say, hey, your theory is wrong. I keep an open mind to the whole theories and different ideas on these creatures. What about you, Mariam?
Yeah, I'm me too. I don't think nobody has definitive proof yet, or if they do, they're not telling us or showing us. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be any of us regular people anyway. And when I go out, I need to get better with my camera skills and remember to take a camera, because half the time I don't remember to bring one. Mm-hmm. And also maybe get some information on how to collect evidence, or what is evidence.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And my friends, not all my friends are into this. So if I go out in the woods, I'm looking for stuff, and I might stop and look at some trees or some, glyphs on the ground, and they think I'm weird looking at something. Looking at the way trees are, or how sticks are arranged, and I have one friend that's into this too, but she lives up north of Seattle. Mm-hmm. So we don't always, it's not always easy to get together with everyone's busy lives. And then I don't like to go out alone, because David Pilatus already scared me into doing away from that.
Yeah, definitely bring someone with you and watch yourself look up.
Yeah,
definitely.
And then there's just so many weird people now, and everybody, high on something. That's another reason not to go alone.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely. Got to watch yourself out there for sure. Stay safe in the woods, and always, like I've always said, let somebody, if you're going out by yourself, let somebody know where you're going.
Yeah.
Let them know when you're gonna. Well, let them know when you're expected to come back.
My family's nosy. They track me more than the CIA. So.
No, that's good, because that's one way to keep safe out in the woods, is let somebody know where you're going.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh, even if I take a road trip, I tell people where I'm going.
Yeah, be surprised how many people don't. All those people disappeared and go, well, Jesus, they never told me where they were going.
Well, oh, wow.
That happens all the time.
I recommend when you do go out is carry one of those personal beacons. I know
personal locator beacon, yeah.
Yeah, those are expensive.
Yeah, I have one of those.
$500 is worth it, or it's.
And actually, did you know that the iPhone Pro Max has also the beacon in it?
Oh, really?
In. And
I've got a little Pro Max myself.
Yeah, if you get it, well, I have mine through T-Mobile, and it's included.
All right, on. You have to look into that. Todd, real quick, you said you went to go grab your book from the bookshelf. You want to promote that book?
Oh,
Well, just because it's you're we're going to do some stuff with the fellows and gals from the UK. This is Deborah Hatswell is a writer and blogger from the UK here, called it's called BBR Cryptid and Paranormal Investigations, and it's got some really cool sightings and stuff from across the pond. So you can
come on, Tsunami.
you'll probably find it on Amazon. I don't think it was much more than $15 or $20 or whatever it was, but kind of interesting stories from across the pond. I happened to run across them, I don't know, about a year and a half, 2 years ago or something like that. I think I don't know when it was published. Let's see when it was published. If I could actually see what I'm looking at here. I don't know, it doesn't have a publication date or something here, but needless to say, year or two ago. Let's go with that. But
sounds good to me.
Kind of cool.
If you can send a picture of it, I'd like to check that out. I might just have to purchase one because I've got a couple other books in my cart right now on Amazon that I need to purchase. I'm just waiting until I get some overtime or something to purchase it. So
yeah, well, like I said, get those Linda Godfrey books, because those things are going to be disappearing because of her passing last year and stuff. And I was lucky. I've got every single one of her publications from the get-go, and they're going to. I wouldn't be surprised if they start disappearing, or they're going to go up way up in price, and so get them while they're hot. I think
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
well, we're kind of up a little over an hour right now, and I just want to say thank you for everyone in the chat that jumped on, and we're active, and I want to say special thank you to Mariam for joining us on such a last second notice. I really appreciate it, Mariam. And Todd, thank you for everything, being an awesome co-host, and finding our guests and helping me out, and just helping the West Coast and spreading the awareness of Dogman as the phenomenon continues to grow.
Yeah, let's not forget about you.
Everybody for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not forget about U.S. Dogman Federation page.
Yes.
Support the page out there and
Promote it.
And promote it. Post stuff on it. It's looming in the background. Just Shane brought it back up, and I've been kind of pushing the admin piece of it, and trying to get it out there a little bit more. We've
got so many Facebook groups. I mean, it's a lot to uptake, but at the same time, people say you're crazy, just put it all under one. But it's just like, why have one? I mean, we have our NADP pages. USDF is just a neutral group that, we don't pick sides whether you support a certain group or not. It's just a, carefree group. The idea behind it is what I thought was, we had to bring it back for a reason. And almost not to branch off. That's why I brought the Region 1 back, because people joined it for the Region 1. So, yeah, we're in our infancy with the USDF, and I do believe it will be something one day. And, hey, if you guys can all go promote that and help share it, and the idea behind what we're trying to do at USDF, and just like with NADP, we're just trying to spread awareness of Dogman, but we're a neutral Dogman page. We're not siding with any group. We're just, hey, we're putting evidence out there and just Dogman content. So help us, please go like and subscribe and join the page and share it to your friends. So Mariam, Todd, a big thank you again. And I hope you both have a great evening, and
you too.
We'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you again so much.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night. Take care. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100%